Hey guys, what's going on? So today is September 13th of 2020, and that means it is the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Brothers series. I thought it would be fun to tell you guys like my first experiences actually playing Mario Brothers, where I saw it at and all that stuff, my childhood memories. But it's a pretty special day for this little guy, and I'm really fond of him. Matter of fact, I credit Super Mario Brothers, the actual series, the games, is kind of what got me first so heavily into video games. Like I grew up with video games. We had an Atari, there was arcades, but I saw it as like another thing. And I remember the first time I saw Donkey Kong anywhere was we were on family vacation in Ohio at this place called Tappan Lake, and it was the Tappan Lake Marina. And you walked in, it was one of those places that had like the fake wood paneling everywhere. And I always used to get like clam strips every time I went in there. But Donkey Kong was the first Nintendo experience I ever had. But even playing that, and I mean, we played the crap out of it. It was fun as hell. But even playing that, I wasn't like swooning over to video games completely just yet. But my first experience with Super Mario Brothers, the game, didn't actually happen until sometime later in 1986, even though the release date was 85. Back in those days, release dates for video games weren't really like a solid set thing. They just kind of like came out and rolled out at a certain time. And Nintendo also did a test market in New York City, so it was one of those things where in the rest of the United States, we didn't really see Nintendos until like a year later, honestly. So my first experience, I used to go to this department store with my parents called Best Department Store, and Best was like this just kind of like mishmash of everything. Like they were very big on like glassware, electronics. They had appliances there. There was your basic department store, but always the two things I always remember is their very large video game section, and they had this very large area with like these really nice glass shelves and all this nice glassware just everywhere. And I remember how like sometimes like some of the electronics would also have video games in it, so it was also kind of like toys to me and stuff. So it kind of like had this weird stuff that would just spew everywhere. And you went into the toy section and it had those like metal peg boards, you know, where they would set the metal shelves up and all that. And somebody had set one up, and they had set up on two like 13-inch monitors. So right there they had a Nintendo Entertainment System, first time I ever saw it, playing Super Mario Brothers. I had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, so there was actually, I think at first there was like the actual light gun hooked up to it. And next to it was the Sega Master System. And I played some Hang On. You know, I think my brother actually checked out the Nintendo first, and I played some Hang On. I was like, this is fun, but I played this before. So it's kind of like pole position, right? And then I played Super Mario Brothers, and my mind was literally blown when, for the first time, I actually saw the screen scroll. And this was my first experience ever seeing a game just go and continue on, because you got to remember at this time, video games to me, at least at this point, were always like confined in that TV tube, in that box. The only way you got from one side of the screen to the other is it would like do this thing where if your character ship went to one side, it would loop and show up on the other side. But it was always the same static board, and that was with everything. I was with Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers. Up until this point, I had never seen this, and I was like, wow, it's like they can build like whole worlds now because the screen can actually move off to the side. It's like, this is amazing. And we take this stuff for granted today, but it really was amazing at the time. All right, my first memory with Mario Brothers 3, this is kind of embarrassing, but this is actually what happened. And even my memory was kind of skewed of it. I thought I saw the Wizard first or something like that. I actually looked it up. Apparently, the Wizard came out in December of '89, and a lot of people see the Wizard as the first reveal of Super Mario Brothers 3. That was not my first reveal. I actually remember seeing it before. And I told kids this, and they thought I was crazy. But 89 was awesome. I mean, I had a 10th birthday where my mom rented out the entire arcade. We all played Ninja Turtles and beat the game. It was a great time. One of my, still my favorite birthday party of all time, regardless. But the first time I played Super Mario Brothers 3, I remember like Batman, the old Tim Burton Batman movie, was playing that year. And I think I got Batman on the NES as like a birthday gift as well. So we went to go see Batman, and me being a dumb young kid, I got like Sour Patch Kids or Snow Caps or something with this big tub of Mountain Dew, right? And I have this big tub of Mountain Dew and I drink the thing and I'm like, just having a good time watching Batman. And when my mom would work and she worked at one of the stores in the mall, instead of us waiting, she'd give us enough money to go run around the mall, get something to eat, watch a movie, go to the arcade. And it was almost always in that order. So typically when the movie was over, we went straight to the arcade and that's what we did this day. And so me and my brother go to the arcade, and I have $5, and I put it straight in the machine. And I get this big tub of tokens for $5, right? And I'm just like, I'm gonna play all the arcade games today. And I'm like, what I would always do is I'd kind of like look, I'd kind of scan the arcade. I'd always just do this like, the arcade was like in a circle, right? And I always just go around in the circle and look around and look at all the games and see what's being played and what's not being played and what games I haven't played yet and stuff. And I actually did that at my birthday party too. I actually made point to try to play every single arcade machine for my birthday party. But they had the Play Choice 10 there. Now, a little background on the Play Choice 10. The Play Choice 10 was basically a Nintendo Entertainment System in an arcade machine. The idea was Nintendo released these to get kids to kind of experience the NES, and then, hopefully they would beg their parents, and then the parents would go buy the NES and take it home so they could play it at home. The way it worked was you didn't like get lives or anything like that. The games played exactly the same as they did at home. It was just when you put a token in, you would get a certain amount of time on a clock. And it had two screens. And the reason a lot of Nintendo machines, arcade machines like Punch-Out and stuff had two screens is Nintendo had over-ordered too many arcade parts. And so they were putting two monitors in a lot of their machines to use up the screens. And so like one screen would just tell you like what game you're playing, how to play it, and tell you like the time left, and then the other screen would be the actual NES game. And so I looked it up. A lot of people think the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage was the first time anybody saw Super Mario Bros. 3 revealed in the United States. Even though it was a big Nintendo commercial, actually it wasn't. It was the Play Choice 10. Came out on July 15th of 1989. And so I thought it was crazy for years because kids told me there's no way. That's the only way the Wizard was shown at first. Not true. Looked it up. So I went to the arcade and I looked around. I'm like, it says right on the screen, or it doesn't, the game isn't selected. So you had to select the game, but it says up there, Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of the games on the Play Choice 10. I'm like, huh. And you didn't have to put coins in to select different games to see the actual title screen come up. So I hit the button. And then the Super Mario Brothers 3 title screen comes up, and I'm like, I need to play this. I really need to play this. I put all $5 of my tokens into this machine and just filled up the freaking clock. And I remember I played so much of it. I actually got through the entire first world of Super Mario Bros. 3, and then as I'm playing the second world, this feeling comes on. And I can feel my bladder filling up. And now I'm starting to think back to that big tub of Mountain Dew I had while watching Batman. And I'm like, oh my God. And my brother's like off playing some games or something. And I'm thinking, and now all of a sudden, like kids are starting to like look behind my shoulder. I'm like, look like this. And there's like kids back here. And they're like, and the kid goes, is that Super Mario Brothers 3? And I go, yeah, it is. It's like, oh my God, I need to play. And the way it worked in the arcade is if you ever moved from that spot, the next kid played, And so they start putting the tokens on the machine to kind of indicate they want to play. I'm like, look, I got like $5 worth of time in this, so it's going to be a minute. And they're like, that's okay, I'll wait. And so I'm feeling like the pressure here because like now my bladder's really starting to fill up. So now my brother comes over and I'm thinking, yes, finally, my savior, thank you. And I'm like, Neil, my brother's Neil. I'm like, Neil, just take my spot and play this for a minute while I go use the bathroom down the hallway. And my brother's like, no, just go use it. And I'm like, if I just go use it, these kids are just going to come in and take my time. And he's like, well, you should have went to the bathroom before you went to the arcade. I'm like, could you just fucking play this for a minute so I can come? I got tons of lives. Just play it and I'll be right back. And he's like, no. And I'm just like thinking, fucking asshole. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. You know what? Fuck it. I pissed myself right there in the arcade and I finished the rest of my playtime. As soon as I do that, my brother just fucking takes off. He just bolts. He's just like, fuck this shit. You know what? I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all because it was the right choice. I got to play Super Mario Bros. 3. Of course, I didn't tell any of the kids about the part where I pissed myself, but when I got back to school on Monday, I got to tell them all I was played Super Mario Brothers 3 that's real and you can go play it at the arcade. I don't know what ever happened. I don't know if kids just never investigated or anything, but some of them called me out on it and said I was full of shit and stuff, but it was there. I did play it. First time I played Super Mario World, you know, I was at that time I was already reading magazines and stuff. I knew the Super Nintendo was coming. I knew of Super Mario World, but the first time I got to play it was a neighbor kid from like I think it was like Columbus. The family moved in from, and you could tell they were just like city folk. You know, they had like really nice things and stuff like that. And the kid had a Super Nintendo. First time I saw Super Nintendo after launch, and I got to play. I basically made friends with the kids so I can go up there and play Super Mario Brothers all the time. It's like I was like every time we kind of hang out, I was like, "You want to go back to your place and play Super Mario Brothers?" I was basically using them. But that was the first time, and then ironically, when I finally got the cash, and my brother actually bought me a Super Nintendo for my birthday, so you know he got his first job, and he was like, "Here, I'll give you the cash to buy a Super Nintendo," and then my mom was gonna buy the game. And Star Fox had, and I once again I didn't ever get anything like early, so it was like 1993 by this point, and Star Fox had just come out, and I saw polygons, and I got mesmerized, and I was like, "That's like Stun Runner in the arcade." And you know, so there's this big kind of like tussle back and forth because my brother wanted like Super Star Wars, and we ended up getting Star Fox. So I didn't actually get or play Super Mario Brothers until like much later in the system's life. I think I actually had Super Mario All Stars before I even had Super Mario World. So, but it's a great game, and yeah, Mario Sunshine. I actually played in Iraq. So when I got deployed, when I was in the army, and I got deployed to Iraq, whatever you want to call it. Um, One of the ideas is when I first went over, I took my Xbox and we had Halo and we played like Halo like the death split screen, and more guys kind of had like Xboxes shipped over and stuff. And we tried to find CRTs and network gear. We eventually had 16 player Halo going on over there. And so they saw how it was kind of like relieving a lot of stress and all that, like the upper command was. And so they decided this is a good idea. And I don't know where they got it from, if they just bought it or whatever, but they made this tent that you could actually go in and you would rent games out, and you would go into the tent and they had everything there like PlayStation 2s, they had Dreamcast even, they had GameCube, all that stuff. And they had Mario Sunshine and Metroid. And I remember renting those two for an afternoon and going in and playing them. And that was my first experience with Super Mario Sunshine. And although I really love the look of the game and everything, if I got to be honest, because I couldn't reverse the camera controls, I got ultimately very tired of it and just ended up playing Metroid. But I still got a GameCube. I still got it later when I got back from Iraq, and really, really enjoyed the game. It was a lot of fun. But I've had a lot of fun with Mario through the years. I've had Mario Galaxy on the Wii. I skipped the Wii U, and for the Switch, I've played Mario Odyssey and absolutely love that game. And Mario's just been always like a staple of just like good feelings and emotions for me. It's just a great stress reliever. I love Mario. I love what Mario's done for me in my life in a way. Kind of like a ultimate escape from like different pressures and things like that. And so, happy birthday, Mario. I think you deserve it. Thank you very much for what you've given me and a lot of other people. And yeah, those are my stories and the one time I peed myself to play Mario Brothers 3. So if you guys really enjoyed this little story and everything, hit me a little thumbs up down below. Let me know what your Super Mario Brothers stories are down below. When was the first time you ever played a Super Mario Brothers game? On what system? And just tell me the whole story. I'm actually really interested to know everybody else's stories. And I will see you guys in the next video.